Oh, meow there. Welcome. To my like stream of Diablo 3. I'm just chilling out. This is like really freaking loud. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, because it's like in my ear. Yeah. I've been really uninspired this week, so sorry for not streaming much. It happens. This is still so... This game is like the literally loudest thing in the fucking world. Like, I love this game, but it's so loud. Anyways, I didn't really have the energy, the emotional energy, I guess I should say, to like commit to playing Life is Strange right now, because it's kind of an intense game in that, you know, I gotta think about what I'm doing, and I just really, I don't really feel like doing that right now. So I was just hanging out playing Diablo 3, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna stream Diablo 3, and it might be super uninteresting. But this game is just like, it's my chill out game. I'm trying to fill out, so I have like other heroes that are way stronger than this one. But I've never actually tried to do all the seasonal stuff. So what I've done all these, like, as you can see, that's all full. And then this is like mostly done. And I'm missing like 2 things, which is what? Innocence, kill Diablo at level 60 or higher on hard difficulty. I'm playing on hard difficulty. And then Living Siege, Engine of Hell. Kill the Siegebreaker Assault Beast at level 60 or higher on hard difficulty or higher. So it's these 2 things that I'm trying to do. So right now I'm just doing the Darkening of Tristram event, which happens right here. It's really easy to find. You basically just go to Old Tristram, you find the well, and then you go into the portal that's right beside the well. And then it gives you this like really funky like retro filter, but it's only available until the end of January. So if you haven't done it yet, do it. You've got 4 days. Yeah, and I've got my little Moo cow, who I'm so proud of my cow, because the cow is actually really difficult to get. But yeah, it's a cool little seasonal event that, like, Blizzard's usually really good about their seasonal stuff. Ugh. Stop running away from me. I just want to kill you. So yeah, and I just decided I would roll a Crusader because, I've never done it. What's up here? What's up this way? Let's go this way. I sweep and clear. I'm one of those players. I do not ever just go to my objective. I fill out the map. I have to. It's a compulsion. I don't want to say that I have obsessive compulsive disorder, because I really don't. Like, I absolutely do not. But I am like a casual completionist, I will say. In that I have this tendency where I will like start a game. So let's say like Assassin's Creed Black Flag is the perfect example. I've never beaten that game like cover to cover. I've never completely finished it. But it is a game that I play over and over and over, and I complete everything in it. Like, I get all of the viewpoints, and I complete every little area, but I always get to this point in the game where, like, I get right to the end, and I think I just get so tired of it. Because I'm like, well, I've done everything, and it's like, all I have to do left is the story. And, like, you would think that that would compel me to, like, finish the game and find out what happens in the end, but to this day I still do not know how that game ends. And to be perfectly forthright, I honestly don't even care if it gets spoiled, because I've paid my dues. I've earned my right to have that ending spoiled. I shall just do it myself. Whereas I find, oh my god, excuse me, I'm having a terminally lazy day today. I'm fine with it, but like, you know, whatever. But with Diablo 3, there's no end to this game. Like, there's an end to the game. Like, there's a story and you can finish it, but no one cares. I think I can safely say, I think I have one friend who actually has never played this game and is like interested in the story. And if we're being perfectly honest, the story was only interesting in Diablo 2. In this game, it's more of the same. Well, that's because dedicated Diablo players like myself, like, we don't care about the story. It's about its stats. It is a murder simulator. It is about building your character into as just efficient a killing machine as you can make them via your gear and your stats. And that's just like what I like doing about this game is just, oh my god, the Crusader is so broken. Why am I yawning so much? So I'm just like, I'm gonna chill out and have a couple of smokes to help take the edge off. And just hang out. This is, I think I'm gonna make this a come chill out where this is gonna be unmoderated, I guess you could say. Where you guys can just put this on in the background and just listen to the smooth sound of my voice. Or you can just mute me and have something on in the background and talk in the chat amongst yourselves. Basically what I'm saying is this is a stream that's going to be very lazy. Don't expect it to be super entertaining. Very low-key. I just talk about, like, really whatever enters my head, because I find a lot of the problem with myself in streaming and why I don't stream, like, as often as I should. And I often watch this video from, I don't know if it's from the Game Grounds, but anyways, I think it was Aaron Hansen talking about how, you know, days that you take off, that you're not streaming or creating content, he's like, how dare I not be working? And I get that, and I totally share that sentiment. But it's so hard to get motivated. For myself, personally, and I guess for some people, it's a lot easier to just remain and continue to be motivated, but I really struggle with it. And as Boyfriend Mon always says, I am a master self-saboteur. I am so good at being self-deprecating and self-defeating. I am the, like, everyone says that they're their harshest critic, and that's true of everybody, anyone who's in any sort of art form. But I find with myself personally, I am like, just, my expectations of myself are so high that it's paralyzing. Like, I don't even start doing it because I'm just so crippled by, as I'm talking about this right now, just doing this right now, I'm shaking, my chest is trembling because I hold myself to a standard that no one should hold themselves to, a standard that's like totally unreasonable. Because I'm a perfectionist. No, I'm trembling. Because yeah, it's just and it paralyzes me to the point where I find myself procrastinating and doing everything I can to not do it. Oh god, I'm trembling so hard right now. And that's just to give you an idea of how much anxiety this gives me. Just doing nothing. Because there's not even anyone watching this. Just the idea that people will see this. Me being lazy. Or just not caring as much. Worrying that this content is not going to be good enough because I don't feel that it's good enough for me. I'm sitting here going, well, I wouldn't watch this. This is stupid. Some idiot just pressing buttons.
I must wait longer.
Oh, Jesus, I'm gonna die. Oh, see, now I can't stop trembling because I can't stop thinking about it. My whole internal narrative right now is unraveling. My entire internal narrative is just like, what are you doing? People aren't going to be watching this. And you're talking about your trembling, which is going to make you seem weak and feeble. And no one's going to watch some idiot talking about how streaming online is making them tremble and nervous. But that's the reality of it. Ugh. You see that? I'm not faking this. I wish. Oh, I wish I could. But I can't. That's what I'd be really honest with myself is when I tremble like this. Because it's like it's hard for me to listen to this kind of brutal honesty about myself. Coming from myself. Like when other people are this honest with me, I can kind of, I guess, deconstruct it a little bit better and like compartmentalize it because it's not in my own voice. But with this sort of format, it's like it's all just me, and it's just me dealing with myself, and I'm being very like me. But I mean, that's what this stream is about. Oh, one thing I will talk about. This will make me less anxious as well, and so will this. I'm gonna roll a cigarette. But one thing, I'm gonna go do this right now. Actually, hold up. I have to go put this in the you know, description of my video. Because I'm about to start talking about Drag Race because I need to. Oh my god, All-Star Season 3 was last night and I watched it with my boyfriend and it was it was a transcendent experience. My boyfriend and my roommate, and it was amazing. It was so good. So, for those of you who are watching this post-fact, and not chatting in the stream, because no one is doing that right now, that's fine. Oh, that's cool. My current live streams show up on my YouTube homepage now? That's a new feature. I'm about to start talking about Drag Race All-Star Season 3, and there's going to be spoilers. So if you do not want that, then this is your opportunity to not hear it. And after the stream, I'll put a link, or I'll see if I can figure out how to do the timestamp thingy, where you can skip ahead to where I'm not talking about it, so that you don't have the episode spoiled. But we're gonna get into it right now. And so I'll start by saying that it was amazing. There were twists and turns, and I'll go on with the opening looks. And I think my favorite opening look, I can't believe I'm saying this. My favorite opening look was Milk's. I just thought that was just really, really striking. Like, it was very like, I want to say like 1990 Vogue, or like, you know, early, or like mid to early 90s, or early to mid 90s, like Vogue magazine. Because she just had this, like, it was just fierce. Like, her hair was just, like, this bowl cut. And it was just, like, cut right across. And it was, like, literally sat on a lampshade that was just on top of her head. And it was amazing. I just loved it. And it was blue and white, which is, like, my favorite color palette. Blue and white, or black and red, or any variant of those. Any kind of amalgamation of those two. Although not red, white, and blue. Because you don't want to mix cool colors with warm colors, usually. But I mean, if you're American, no one cares. Because you can just do whatever you want, America. That's the message we've been getting from our favorite president. And I don't want you guys to think that I have a dislike of Americans. Sorry, I'm just adjusting male issues here. I love America. I love Americans. I have a ton of American friends. They're all great people. They're not bad people. It's just sometimes you guys make really bad decisions. Sometimes your leaders make really bad decisions. And there's certain parts of America, like to my imagining, the whole Midwest, that's bad. Anyways. Yeah, Milk's look was amazing. Trixie's look, I love Trixie Mattel. anyone who knows me, and now all of you guys know, I am obsessed with Trixie Mattel. She's everything to me. She's everything. She's just the most authentic, genuine drag queen, I think, honestly. And I'm not trying to throw shade at the other ones and say that they're not like authentic or genuine in their performances and that. But I feel like Trixie is a lot less of a character and just her. Like, that's just her. And her whole aesthetic just makes me scream. And it's so good. Like, the whole 80s bubble pop fantasy is just like, you know, back in the days when makeup was like so much more of a statement back then. And that was when you would cut your cheeks so fucking sharp. It was ridiculous. And everything about the 80s was like sharp, hard angles, but like bright, bright colors that just really softened and rounded everything out. Cyndi Lauper is who I came to that. But Trixie's look for the opening, I found, was just very... We've seen it. It was her in a bodysuit. But the fact that she was on rollerblades was fucking amazing. Trixie Mattel, I love you. If you're watching this, I'm not throwing shade. I loved the look. I just think that in comparison to some of the other looks, it was just a little... And I can't do better. You know what? I should just shut up because I can't do better. I could never do better. I could never do makeup like her. I could never do what she does, even though there's a big part of me that like really wants to. So like the opening looks were amazing. Shangela came back, and I live for her too. I fucking love Shangela so much. Shangela? Wow. She's gonna come out the screen and slap me, and I deserve it, honestly. I do. Why? Why do I have to do this manually? That was really annoying. Yeah, the opening looks were so good. I think Trixie's gonna win. I want her to win. And they did the reading challenge right out of the gate, and it was just, oh my god, it was so good. And the 10th queen is Baby Zahara Benet, which I like. Oh, I cannot. I love her. She's amazing. Just so unique and so striking. So their maxi challenge was the talent show, kind of like season 1. Although I think they did the season 2. I think they did the talent show later in season 2, which is fine. I'm allowed to be wrong about things. Oh yeah, I was putting that in the description, so I'm going to put that in the description now. Let's talk about drag queens. Where's the description? There's no description. Oh, there's a description right there. I can just go edit. I'm a mess. I'm a mess today. I've been a mess all week. I don't know what's wrong with me. In all caps, we'll hit caps locks. Warning. Spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead. If you're a Drag Race fan. Race fan. No, I'm actually just gonna make that Drag Race All-Stars Season 3. And then I'll do like, oh no, Control Y? Z. Okay. Trixie Mattel. Trixie Mattel. Is it 2 L's? It's 2 L's. It's 2 T's, sorry. Trixie Mattel. Right? Wow, I can't even spell her name. I'm the worst. Yeah, it's 2 T's, like Mattel, like the toys. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I'm not retarded. Baby Zahara Benet. Anyways, it was fabulous. And, like, it was just so nice to see some of the queen. Like, Morgan McMichaels came back, and that was amazing. I loved her a lot, actually. She was so good in season 2. There's just, and that's the thing is, like, I can't pick a favorite. This cast is so good this season. Like, I say that I want Trixie to win, and, like, honestly, I do. But then there's so many other queens that I also would love to see win. Like, seeing Morgan McMichaels win would be amazing. But she shot the bed in that episode, and... we'll get to that later. So the opening looks were great. The reading challenge was just amazing. Milk has this... she's copping an attitude this season, and I have to say that I don't like it. Like, she kept throwing shit at all the other queens, being all like, oh, well, you know, I toured in... I was on the cover of all these magazines and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not trying to say that she hasn't worked hard. And Milk has done amazing things for the queer community. But I just think that, like, be humble, girl. Like, some of these other queens came before you, and you're throwing shit right at them. And you would not be able to be doing what you're doing without them. That said, though, I definitely think she is a strong contender. But I definitely feel like she's going to be the villain this season. And Thorgy Thor is back. Thorgy is great. Her aesthetic is... I would do her aesthetic if I were to ever do drag. I feel like her aesthetic matches mine. Like, just kind of, like, really, really crazy, out there, colorful, super vibrant, kind of club kid look, but off the beaten path. Like, I really just enjoy her aesthetic. And she rocks dreadlocks. And normally I don't like white guys with dreadlocks, but... she pulls them off pretty well. Oh my god, this is going to take forever. But yeah, really, really good. There had been rumors that one of the queens was going to be Ongina, and I honestly was like living for that because Ongina was my favorite queen in season 1. As much as I love Bebe, Ongina was just everything to me. I loved her aesthetic, the bald queen. And then when she came out talking about like how she's struggling with HIV, like it was just such a touching story. But yeah, it was great things. But the talent show, oh my god, the talent show. Shangela's performance, my jaw was on the floor. And my boyfriend kept saying, well, she's just doing her job. It's like, that's not a talent, that's her job. And I'm like, so you trying to say that, what, her job don't take talent? Like, yes, she lip-synced to one of her songs. But, I mean, she ripped up that stage. And Aja as well. Oh, my God. She lip-synced to Level Up Your Pussy. It was amazing. So good. And she did this death drop that was just so fast. Oh, my God. My heart stopped. And Vanessa Hudgens was one of the guest judges. It was just everything about this episode. It was amazing. It was so good. Like, I was gagging the whole time. Like, just, I never stopped. It was fucking fantastic. And, like, high budget. High budget.
Eternal death awaits anyone.
It's gonna be like this. I cannot wait for this season to keep progressing. So, Morgan McMichaels was the first to get eliminated. Spoilers! 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 And she shot herself like way in the foot because she was all like, I'm gonna eliminate all the girls who I see as like the biggest competition and blah blah, like out loud, like in the room so everyone could hear her. And while like I respect that mentality, like keep that to yourself, girl. Don't go making enemies right out of the gate, because honey, oh, with the way the elimination challenges are set up this season, it's the same as All-Star Season 2. And it's like, if you go making enemies, like, right out of the gate, then the girls who win the lip sync and get the elimination are gonna pick you like that. Like, and that's exactly what happened. She put her foot in her damn mouth and she got eliminated, just like that. But then, at the end of it, so the top two of that episode were, Aja and Band de la Creme. And I think it's kind of bullshit. I think Trixie was robbed because Trixie's performance, out of all of them, literally showcased the most talent. And she played her friggin' harpsichord. It was amazing. And she sang her new single, which just gets me, like, every time. Like, that single just kills me. It's so heartfelt and so honest and just comes from, like, such a place of love that it's like, oh, it's so touched. Trixie Mattel is amazing. She's an amazing human being. She's too precious for this earth. We don't deserve her. We actually don't. As a species of human beings. It shouldn't... like, how she has come out of all of the shit that is us doesn't make sense to me. Jaded? Oh, I died right away. So Aja and Bendel Creme won the challenge, and Bendel Creme won the lip sync against Aja, which they did Anaconda, and I thought that Bendel Creme was just gonna be out of her league. I thought that Aja was gonna have this in the bag because I was like, that's like her like aesthetic. That's like her whole thing is like that kind of aesthetic. Like, I don't want to say like her whole thing is Nicki Minaj because she's obviously more diverse than that and she has way more looks, but like it's much more her thing than Ben de la Creme's, who, while terminally delightful, I can't exactly see her twerking to Anaconda. But she turned it out. And Ben de la Creme's performance or talent piece was this really raunchy burlesque piece, but it was like done in the style of like, I want to say like the 50s, like a 50s flapper, like dancing in lingerie. And she had like all of these nipple tassels, and she did, I can't remember what it is, but it's like those Ukraine dolls where like you keep opening them and there's a doll inside of it, but she did it with bras. So it went from like this like giant like triple like G bra that was just like out to here, and she kept taking off bras that had nipple tassels, and like one was like missing it on one side, and like there was two on one side. It was so entertaining. So I understand why she won the challenge, because it was very entertaining. I just think that out of all of the lip sync pieces and performances that were done, because Aja did one, Morgan McMichaels did one, Shangela did one, Baby Sahara Benet did one, everyone did one. It was all just lip sync performances. Except for Chi Chi DeVayne, who I think, and Chi Chi, I love you. I love you. Like, you are me. We are the same person. I'm not even lying about this. Like, we're basically the same person. You fucked up. And you know it, and I know you don't need to hear it from anyone, because, like, you are head and shoulders above me in, like, every conceivable way. But you should have done heels. I don't know why you didn't wear heels. And that wig fucked you. You should have had an updo. If you're gonna be doing, like, cheerleader baton spinning realness, like, you want, like, a bun or, like, high ponytail. And the outfit, though, the outfit was really good. Like, with the tassels, it was great. I liked it, but it wasn't the strongest performance, and I think that she should have gone home, not Morgan. But Morgan deserved to go home more than Chi Chi, because Morgan shot herself in the foot. And I'm glad, because now it's gonna light a fire under Chi Chi's ass. And we all saw what happened in season 8. When you light a fire under that girl's ass, she brings it. She brings it. She's got it. She's got that fire. But girl, you've got to bring it every single goddamn time. You cannot hold back for even a second. Like, I'm sorry. It's a competition, which is why I could never do that kind of a competition. I would crumble so fast. I would crack faster than 2 matchsticks trying to support like 5 pounds of bricks, girl. Like, it just would not work. It would not work for me. So I applaud you for doing that. But yeah, it was like a roller coaster. Like, oh, RuPaul, mama, what are you doing to me? Every season, I don't know why I'm gagging, she brings it every season. But every season just has me completely gagged. We went through this whole fiasco to watch it too, like just to get the show up and running was like a disaster, because we were trying to watch it on OutTV Go, and I'm assuming like when the episode aired, like they were experiencing huge server lag because it just was impossible to watch the show at all. It just was not available anywhere. But oh my god, Drag Race is like, oh, it's my life. It's my life. I don't watch television really. Like, I would say about 90 to 100% of the media that I consume is like literally YouTube. So I don't really watch a lot of TV. And Reddit. I do a lot of Reddit. But I lurk on Reddit a lot. I should be more active. But I can't self-promote on Reddit. It's against their Tula, so it's just how it goes. But yeah, it's fabulous. it was fabulous once we finally got it bloody working. Because I guess just everyone must have been trying to watch it, because Drag Race is like a big deal now. Like, even the heteros are into it. And that's fine. Like, hetero people, I love y'all. Just consume our media. That's all I ask. Consume our content. Because there is nothing worse than a straight person, a heterosexual, trying to act all gay friendly when they don't know the fundamentals. So if you're a heterosexual person and you have gay friends and you like want to connect to them, I'll give you a list of things that you need to do, and like depending on how gay they are, but there's certain things that you need to understand about gay culture. Now, if your friends are like gay gamers and they don't consume gay culture really, and like they're like, oh well, I'm gay and I play a lot of video games and I'm a dude, I just happen to like other dudes, then this list doesn't really apply to you. But if you have like super flamey friends who are just like, yes, honey, cat, get it, like, before you jump right in and start cheerleading with them and going like, cat, pow, you have to understand where the culture comes from. Because it comes from a place that's terrible and dark. And the reason that gay people are so out there and fabulous and outspoken and like, fuck you, I don't give a shit, is because we have gone through that struggle. So, your list of things to watch is Paris is Burning. That's number one. Before you even try to understand anything, watch Paris is Burning if you want to understand about drag queens, because that movie is like fundamental. Then you have to watch Priscilla, Queen of the Desert first, not Tu Wong Fu. You watch Tu Wong Fu after you've watched Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, because Tu Wong Fu is amazing. And it's fantastic, and it was, and RuPaul is one of the first things that you see in it, and it's amazing. She descends, and this is not even spoilers, because it's quite literally the first scene of the movie. She descends on a swing from the ceiling in a Confederate flag dress. It's gobsmacked. But Priscilla, Queen of the Desert is superior, in my opinion, A, because it's my people. Australians are just, it takes place in Australia, and Australians are just the best. And B, because Tu Wong Fu is a movie about drag queens who go into a town and like change everyone's lives because they're drag queens, where I find Priscilla, Queen of the Desert is a much more human film. It's about drag queens going on an adventure, but it's about the people behind the makeup, and it's about the growth that they as drag queens undergo and the struggles that drag queens face and deal with on a much more real level, where I find Tu Wong Fu is a little bit more sensationalized and it's also a little bit more palatable, because it's kind of toned down, where there's some scenes in Priscilla that like, ooh, girl, it's racy, it's very real. Visceral is the word I would use to describe Priscilla. Visceral versus sensational. But they both are very, very good films. But it's very clear that Tu Wong Fu is a reflection of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. And in my honest opinion, I feel like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert just has like more sensational set pieces. It's weird. It's kind of like if you put both movies together, they would make one outstanding movie, and separate, they're two very good movies that borrow from each other quite a bit. One more than the other, but we've already talked about that. So yeah, those two movies, you need to watch those movies. You need to watch Carney and Carla. That's an amazing movie, which is basically, oh, what was it? Something Heat? Boy, my mom would know what it is. Yeah, that's like, it's that, but with women. Strictly Ballroom, very important, very, very important movie. Not necessarily for gay culture, but it's one of my favorite movies, like, of all time. You need to watch that. You need to at least watch, why are you following me? Season 1 and 2 of Drag Race. Some Like It Hot. Some Like It Hot. Yeah, that one. Connie and Carla is Some Like It Hot, but with women. And less offensive. Or less homophobic. There's those ones. I said Strictly Ballroom. I want to say Clueless, but that's just more because that's like a staple of the 90s. But yeah, Tu Wong Fu, Connie and Carla, Some Like It Hot, not Some Like It Hot. Connie and Carla, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Those are like the gay staple movies. And then if you want to get into like the nitty gritty, like the real struggles, watch Dallas Buyers Club. That movie is just, you will cry. You will cry. The Hours is another one where while one of the gay plot lines isn't like the central point, it like really focuses just on how different being gay was in the 90s and in the early 80s, because you kids today, holy shit, have it so much easier, and that's a good thing. I don't say that with bitterness in my heart. I say it because I'm grateful of how easy it is, how much easier it is to be gay now, because being gay is by no stretch of the imagination easy, but it's a lot easier. You guys don't have to deal with the things that I had to go through when I was coming out or discovering that I was gay. Like the level of ostracization that takes place. Oh my god, wow, these guys do not screw around. Because it was shocking. It was shocking. Like, even when I look back and I think about, like, some of the things that I went through personally, it's because today, that would never happen. It just wouldn't happen. Because we have such a stronger sense of identity as a community. That there is an openly out gay community. Like, when I was in high school, the biggest deal ever was like Will and Grace, because Will and Grace had like an openly gay character on it, and like that was the only show on TV at the time that like had an openly gay main character that was not just like an archetype of like what a gay man was supposed to be, or that was like that represented gay people in a capacity as they were gay people, and not just like walking stereotypes who were, you know, obsessed with fashion and talked to the lisp and were limp-wristed, and it was just fair representation for the first time in like a TV show that ran for, how long did Will and Grace run for? I want to say 6 seasons, like 6 or 7 seasons. Like it was a long time. So that was a huge deal, like a huge deal. And it was almost like it like they underplayed it so well that like it's like they should have made a big deal out of it because of what a big deal it was, but the fact that they didn't almost spoke even greater volumes to the respect towards gay culture, because man, in the 80s and 90s it was scary. I mean, HIV was absolutely everywhere. We had no idea what it was, we had no idea how to cure it, and the way that, you know, people who had HIV were treated was just absolutely, they weren't treated like people, and that was what was really horrifying, is that gay men weren't viewed as people. We were viewed as like as creatures. Like literally, we were literally demonized. So to make a long story short, because I'm an old fart and I'm rambling.
This cannot be opened yet.
Oh, okay. Book of the Blind. Oh, I don't want to go in there. That's annoying. This is annoying. Oh, what was I getting at? To make a long story short, just be grateful that, you know, kids today can come out as young as like 11 or 12 or 13. When I was 13 and 12 years old, when I was discovering that I was gay, I was petrified. Absolutely petrified. My whole identity at that time was based around people not finding out that I was gay, but also struggling with the fact that I was very gay and trying to learn about my sexuality, which created this very weird person. The person that I was when I was 12 and 13 years old, I'm deeply ashamed of, because I did some truly irreprehensible things. And internalized my self-hatred in a capacity that and I still do it a little bit to this day, but I pushed everyone in my life away. Everyone who cared about me, I pushed away. Just by being intolerable and just not dealing with my sexuality in a healthy way. And, like, that's a very real thing that a lot of gay people at that time struggled. That some of them never did, and probably to this day might still be in the closet. There are men who are just coming out now who have been in relationships for the past 32 years of their lives and have never, ever even thought to come out. And are only just now realizing, well, I might be gay. Like, Kevin Spacey. That's a very bad example because of how controversial it is. But, I mean, we all know I'm no stranger to controversy. But, you know, if he truly is gay, when he was growing up, he couldn't come out as gay. If you were born in the 60s, you couldn't come out as gay. Absolutely not. And if you were gay in the 60s, it was a death sentence, more or less. They'd institutionalize you, and they would electroshock therapy you until you were fixed. And that was when conversion therapy was 100% in the swing of it. Like, you think it's, like, the reason conversion therapy is so scary to me now is because of what a real threat it posed in the past, and how they were treated, and it was so stigmatized, but also so commonplace to just be like, oh, I think I'm gay. Well, we're just going to stick you in a hospital, and we're going to do, you know, shock therapy treatment. We're going to put you on a myriad of drugs. We're going to put you on antipsychotics and antidepressants. We're going to try sensory deprivation. We're going to try electroshock torture, where we try and reassociate your fondness for men to that of pain by electrocuting you every time you get aroused from looking at a man. Like, it was literally barbaric.
What you see not.
So yeah, now that those things are not
ready yet.
like nearly as big of a threat as they used to be, it's
When in turn they will be gone.
yeah, I get it. You're dark and foreboding and scary. But I would rather navigate the house of the blind or wherever I am
Move where light should be.
than have to tolerate
Darkness.
any of the homophobia that I dealt with in my youth.
Cast down.
Which compared to some people is marginal, is nothing. Like, I went through horrible experiences, but compared to some of the things that I've heard from some of my, some of the older people in my community, it's like, I can't even believe it. So anyways, again, making a very long story short, drag queens are such an important part of gay culture. And it doesn't matter who you are, if you're a muscle bear, if you are, you know, a gym bunny, if you're a twink, if you're an otter, if you're a wolf, if you're into puppy play. It does not matter who you are, because if it were not for drag queens and the rioting at Stonewall, which was started largely by drag queens and transgender people, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be allowed to have pitbull parties. You wouldn't be allowed to even go to a leather bar, you know? And I understand that that's a culture, admittedly, I know probably very little about. But the fact that it can be out in the open and that it's a thing, that we have floats celebrating it in gay pride, is because people took up arms and were willing to lay down their lives for what they believed in. And it was largely the drag community because of how underground and how attacked it was. And that's how it was. People were disgusted by it. The idea of a man dressing up as a woman was so disgusting to so many people that it brought outrage, that clubs got raided, that dance halls and voguing halls, or I can't remember what they were called, that houses had to be made as like these clandestine arrangements where for only a few hours a night you could let yourself go, and then for the rest of the week, for like one night a week, you could be who you could truly be, and then it was like to this slog of being your heteronormative businessman life. So always have respect for drag queens, and even if drag queens are not your scene and they're not your thing, you should offer them nothing but the utmost respect, because what they do and what they represent as a community is so important. So important. Which is why it's such a huge deal that RuPaul's Drag Race is part of mainstream media now. It's amazing. And if you don't like it, that's your thing. It's not your thing. You're allowed to not like it, but don't shit on it. And don't say that it's disgusting. Because you're disgusting for thinking that. I realize that's a controversial opinion to have, but it's my sincere belief that, like, you know, just because it's not for you doesn't mean you get the right to decide how those people create their success. Which is really, ultimately, let's be honest, what it is. If you're super salty at drag queens and you hate them, you're probably just pissed off that a guy can make a living out of wearing makeup and a wig while you slog away at your desk job and get nothing for it. But the world's not fair. And there are plenty of people who are in positions of power that should not be in positions of power. Donald Trump! But, you know, the world isn't fair, and some people are just afforded opportunities because they're in the right place at the right time. And that's just how it do, girl. That's just how it do. But I'm running out of steam about this topic. Other than, oh my god. Also, you may have noticed, I've named my character Courtney Act, who's another one of my favorite drag queens. To be perfectly honest, I don't have one favorite drag queen. There's so many of them that are so wonderful that I love for so many different reasons. I feel like I relate to Trixie Mattel, like on a very personal level. But who are your favorite drag queens, people? Talk about it in the comments below. Talk about it in the live chat. Rewatch this video. Or don't, and just leave a comment for the sake of leaving a comment. I appreciate it. And all that you do. I appreciate you for everything that you do. Aww. Boy, oh, what is this? What are you? I saw you. I saw you! Bolt Conclave. 16-19 damage, and totality, experience per kill. Who cares about that? Reduces all resource costs by 7%. Chance to deal 14% area damage on hit. Conquest Harvest. Maximum wrath. No, I want this. Oh, Jesus, I've got the hiccups. Oh. Yeah, I'll take that. Take that. Take it. Gold for monsters? I mean, I like gold, but is there anything better? 4 thorns damage? No. What level am I now? 26? I might be able to use some stuff for my stash.
I am returning to town.
Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can do that. This is also kind of an inside look at what my internal monologue goes like. For those of you who don't know, I have attention deficit disorder with undiagnosed depression. So it creates for like a really interesting mix because I get really sad about things and then like I'll forget why I'm really sad and then I realize that I'm just being sad for the sake of being sad. I don't want that. No, I don't want to filter it. No. Because I probably have a better version of it. So yeah, it's like being me is actually extremely annoying because I can't remember things for the life of me, and I'm super forgetful. It's like just about the most basic shit. I trail off in the middle of conversations. Picking up health glow increases your maximum life by 5% or 15 seconds. Hell, you've seen me do it twice during the stream. Yeah, it's pretty horrible. It's pretty awful. And that cycles back into what I was talking about at the beginning. It's like this... It's this weird cycle of, like... my self-worth gets eroded because I'm not making content. And I feel good when I'm making content. But it's like because I'm so just inherently self-destructive, it's like I won't make content, which makes me miserable. And then I'm like... or not miserable, that's being hyperbolic. Like I won't create content for a little while, which makes me be like, oh fuck, I should really create some content. And then I'm like, okay, well, you know, I've already gotten through most of the day right now and I was lazy and I slacked off or just like did whatever and cleaned. So I'll do it tomorrow. And then like I go to bed with like in my head of like, you didn't stream yesterday, why didn't you stream yesterday? You have no right to, like, what are you doing? You have an opportunity to stream all of the time, and that's what you should be doing, so why aren't you doing it? And then so then I wake up the next morning with that in my head as the first thing. And then it's this like whisper of being like, you're not good enough. You don't deserve it. You shouldn't be doing it. Your content's not good. No one's watching your content. And it just turns into this tornado of just hate, of just me actively hating myself and thinking things just like, oh, you should just delete your channel, give up, and just give up on becoming what you want, or give up on the idea that I have in place. Because even just hearing me say that now, I'm just like, wow, don't you sound pompous, being like, oh, well, I have this idea for this channel that's like, but like, that's a goal and an aspiration. And while I don't think that I'm going to be the shit, it's important to have goals and aspirations, but I don't foster mine. I'd watch them burn. I'm one of those kids that would like set fires and just leave them everywhere I go. I am bad at taking responsibility for my actions. It's a work in progress. We're all works in progress. So that's why I figured I would just do this, because I'm like, well, I really like playing Diablo, and it might be really boring, but it's just something that I can stream and then eventually peter off with my talking, and I'll just keep playing it and for like hours and hours and hours. And eventually people will watch, hopefully. I don't know. I have no idea how this works. I have no idea how this works. And there are creators out there who are super good, like Matt Pat from Game Theory and Film Theory has so many workshops available for like new creators to try and bolster them. And I almost want to send out a message and be like, hey, I need your help because I don't know what I'm doing wrong, or I can't get myself motivated. But then my internal monologue goes, well, he's going to look at your channel and then he's going to see that you don't upload very infrequently, and he's going to tell you that you need to be creating more content more regularly, and that that's your biggest deficit. So why don't you just create more content why don't you just create more content? Why don't you create more content? And then that whole tornado starts, and we're back at square one. It's totally illogical. It makes no sense. And I wish I could just like will myself out of it like some people can, but I can't seem to. I try sincerely, but all we can do is the best that we can do. So I think, whoa, that is so slow. Is that because this is normally a two-hander? Bolt conclave attacks. Yeah, rare two-handed mace. Yeah. Because I'm a little bad if I unequip my shield. It's so tiny, though. It does a lot of damage, though. Aegis Essence. So yeah, just playing Diablo.
Patience.
YouTube is just one of those funny things. It's just a funny thing. The other problem that I really struggle with too is I honestly just wish I could like keep Spotify on while I stream, because like it would make it easier, make it feel less like I'm streaming. Well, actually, killing the camera would probably be a thing too. But then you guys won't be able to see my disgusting face. Today it's gross. I need to shower. I'm having a very, very lazy day. I made a vegetable wrap, broccoli, and tomatoes, and there was something else in there. Broccoli, tomatoes, carrots. And carrots. I julienne carrots, sweated them in some butter with the broccoli, with chili and basil, and a little bit of chili and chili flakes as well, which are just the seeds. And I never understood that, because I mean, I guess the seeds are kind of where the heat is, but the heat's actually in the chili itself. And then I did it in the style of a wrap, and it was really yummy. I'm like counting my lighters. I had 7 of them, and now I only have like 3 because I gave some of them to Vay. We are like the worst to like for like in terms of like lighters, because we both just steal them from each other constantly. So one of us will have none, and then the other one will have like 7. And then we've got to divvy them up. It's like having custody over children, honestly. Except not at all like that, because lighters are inanimate objects and not children. Although children can be. I'm kidding, guys. Do not treat children like they're inanimate objects. Unless they're acting like inanimate objects. I'm a firm believer that you should just treat kids like little adults. Like, not necessarily in terms of, like, behavior patterns, but in terms of the way that you talk to them. I've never understood why people coddle kids in the way of being like, oh, well, isn't that nice? Like, just talk, like, they're not stupid. They don't know as much as you do, but they're not dumb. Like, they just don't know things, and so just tell them things. I'm not a fan of talking down to kids. Like, let kids be kids, absolutely. And I'm not saying that you should make them mature faster, but, like, just why adopt, like, the baby voice, you know? Because that's not what you sound like. Your baby's not going to learn how to talk faster if you give them a baby voice. And I know it's hard to resist, because I do it with dogs. I have a dog voice. 100%. But dogs is different. Like, dogs aren't even people, so like they don't even. Oh god, I died. Dogs don't have any idea that you're treating them differently. But like when you're talking to like a 5-year-old or like an 8-year-old, 8-year-olds is a good example. Well, adults will like talk down to them, and I'm like, well, like why? Like they're 8, they're not an idiot. And even if they are an idiot, like just fix that. It's the same thing with like how people treat people with like autism or even like high functioning people, like people who are high functioning with Downs. Like they have Down syndrome. They understand you fine. They themselves might not be able to articulate things the way that you can, but treating them as though they can't understand like what you're saying is like no better. Like it's like, dude, what are you doing? But that's controversial. I had a coworker who was one of our dishwashers. He had Down syndrome. He was high functioning. He was a lovely man, you know. And every once in a while, he would say something that, you know, was like upsetting or offensive or whatever. Like one time, I can't remember what it says, but he it was something along the lines of like, well, if being gay is so hard, just change. You know, and like some people would be like, "Oh my God, you can't just say that." But like, I mean, they don't see what they're saying as being hurtful. So you getting hurt by it and overreacting and then yelling at them and getting really angry and upset isn't helping their situation, because they don't know better. They don't understand that what they've said or how they're behaving is improper, because they have no way to conceptualize it, I feel. But anyways, I might be getting out of my depth here, and I don't want to upset anyone. Because sometimes I say things that are kind of out of line, but oh my god. Imagine a person making a mistake? What? That's ridiculous! That is ridiculous. A person on YouTube doing something that they thought at the time would be okay, but turns out it wasn't. Making a human mistake? Oh my god. Which is leading me to talk into something that I really didn't want to talk about. But, well, fuck it. I'm already heading down this road. Logan Paul. There, I said it. The name that everyone is over right now. And I love that I'm talking about this now that everyone's kind of over it, which is kind of why I'm talking about it now. And what my thoughts on it are. Well, it doesn't matter what my thoughts on it are. He fucked up. YouTube punished him, and I think that the way YouTube responded initially was untoward. But they came around eventually. I think removing his channel entirely was a little bit extreme. And I don't know if he did that himself, or whatever's happening. I just hope that he sincerely learns from it and just kind of like not so much recognizes that he fucked up, but like recognizes why what he did is wrong. It's not so much that what he did was wrong. It's that you understand why what you did was so wrong and that you don't repeat that in the past. Like, I don't like his content, but like lots of other people did, and like that's fine. You're allowed to like content that's controversial, and there's nothing wrong with doing something controversial to get views, but as long as you're not exploiting or hurting anyone, which that is exactly the two things that video he released about the body in the suicide forest did. It was exploitative and hurtful to like a specific person, and not having the forethought to be like, maybe I shouldn't upload this, which is like, it's not like it was a live stream. Like, I live stream, so of course there's going to be times where I might put my foot in my mouth and say something that I shouldn't, and if I ever do that and people want me to take the video down, I absolutely will. 100% I will. But like, that was a filmed video, like a video that he recorded footage of and made the choice to upload. So all I can do is just hope that people understand why that wasn't, like, why that kind of thing isn't okay, and why it's important to have that level of kind of, to filter yourself a little bit. And while I am an advocate, and you will hear me say over and over and over again how I don't have a filter, and I don't. I really just rattle off whatever is in my head. Yeah. That's how it is. Now, I don't know if this person is going to be able to hear me. Ooh, chest armor. Legendary chest armor. Ooh. Aquila Circus. While above 91% primary resources, damage taken is reduced to 50%. Well, I feel like... See, it's hard to see because I can't... Oh, fuck it. I don't see the little headphones mark anywhere. I'm just gonna go to local only. It's gonna kick that person out of the lobby, but I don't feel like dealing with people right now. What was I talking about? Why it's important to understand that what Logan Paul did was wrong. Yes, is what I was getting at. Yeah, it's like it's a because I live stream, so yeah, obviously things can go awry in a live stream, and you have no control over that. You do to some degree, but to like consciously do that, I think is really what's the question here. So really, all I have to say is I doubt Logan Paul will watch this video, and that's fine. But the other thing is just like, dude, hopefully you learn from this. Hopefully you can take something positive away from this experience, and I'm genuinely sorry that it ended your YouTube career or has stalled it. But ultimately, I feel like YouTube made the right decision in protecting themselves. The other interesting thing that I found on YouTube is Poppy. I finally found that Poppy girl. And I have to say, I kind of love it. Like, I kind of think it's genius. But on the other hand, I totally don't get it, and recognize that part of it is not getting it. Like, that's kind of the point, is that it's weird. She's weird for the sake of, I guess I should do that dude. I'm gonna go kill that guy. She's weird, and it's like Bjork. I like it for the same reason I like Bjork. It's weird and out there, and it's not like immediately apparent like what it is, and it's very art poppy, and I don't really like a lot of art pop. Rather, I'm choosy about what I like, but see, the more that I'm thinking about that now, I'm like, that's a lie. I love art pop. I think it's great. But yeah, I think what's going to happen with Poppy is she's just going to get snatched up, if it hasn't already happened, and she's going to get a corporate logo attached to her, and she's going to make so much money so goddamn quickly, it's going to make your head spin. if she's not already. Like, kudos, you know, for crafting a very unique brand, because really, ultimately, that's what YouTube's all about, is you make something that's just you, that, like, is your own format, and other creators will copy your content. Musty tone. Zara the Mad, which is just clearly a reskin of Zoltan Cool, if we're being honest. You thought you could hide. Look at this.
Not ready yet.
Oy vey. But yeah, I think Poppy is very weird and very interesting. But I don't get it. I think that's part of why I like it. It's just because I really, on like such a fundamental level, I do not get it. But that's why I think it's so intriguing to me. Yeah, I was picking my nose. Deal with it. Deal with it. Deal with it, girl. Because there's a lot of things that I can get behind. One skill I think that everyone should foster, and I think this is just, it's so important. So important, and this is because I'm a master at being self-destructive, so I'm very good at this skill, but this isn't a skill that in and of itself is self-destructive. It's very useful. I just use it to negative effect all the time. But when applied to moderation, what I'm about to tell you is very important. Play devil's advocate with yourself constantly. Yes, it's important to have cheerleaders, and yes, it's so important to have people in your life that support you and encourage you, but just like that, it is equally important to have people who challenge you and don't just go along with everything that you say blindly, because blind faith is dangerous. Look at what happened with the Spanish Inquisition. That was blind faith. That was horrible. Absolutely terrible. So play devil's advocate with yourself. If you ever feel very, very strongly about something, the best thing you can do to further your understanding of it is to try and see the opposite side of it. And it's not even to try to, but just argue against yourself. Think of every argument you can against what you believe in, and if you can confidently and effectively defend your viewpoint against every possible angle of adversity, then I think that then that's good. Then it means you truly believe in what you believe in. But if you can make yourself doubt yourself for even a moment, for something that you believe in, like, vehemently, then it means that, you know, you're oh, that's nice. Then it means that maybe what your crusade is about, because I'm playing a crusader, it might not be justifiable, or fully justifiable to you. And if what you're doing, if you're not 100% in what you're doing, and this is me reading myself to fifth and lecturing myself, if you're not in it 100%, what are you doing? You know, if you can't find whatever it is that really, really tickles your pickle, find it and move on. Which I think is kind of why I'm doing this, because I'm just like, well, screw it. I'm so focused on trying to produce this, like, high-level content that I can't produce. But screw it. I'm just gonna put out some mediocre, in my opinion, garbage. And you never know. Some people might love it. You know, others might hate it. I kind of hope that some people hate it. Because I like being challenged by other people, not myself. I think that's my biggest downfall, is I thrive best when I'm being challenged by a person that I can see, whereas my internal struggle, I want to lose. But just get a load of this music. So the whole thing about the darkening of Tristram that I love, that I think I just really, like, gleaned over, was you get so the whole game is in this, like, retro retro kind of filter, and they've even downscaled the frame rate substantially to make it feel and look as much like the original Diablo as possible, even though it looks nothing like it. But like, it's an homage, and it's a very faithful homage. But like, this is like what the OG Diablo was kind of like, in that it had like this creepy music, and like the OG Diablo, like Diablo, the first one, was terrifying to me. It scared me. But then again, I was terrified of absolutely everything as a child. I was scared of the dark. I was scared of xenomorphs. Although xenomorphs is a legitimate fear. If you haven't seen the movie Alien or Aliens, watch them, and you will know terror on a level that you've never experienced it in your life before. Because the xenomorph was just so petrifying. Ridley Scott created this monster that was just... It was unkillable, it was invincible, it was everywhere, it knew what you were doing. It was Santa Claus, except, you know, it didn't want to bring you presents. Well, I mean, it did, but in the form of, you know, putting eggs in your stomach and then having them burst out of you. I think singularly more than the xenomorphs were the facehuggers, in terms of, like, what scares me, in terms of the xenomorph universe is, damn, son, those facehuggers. The idea of something attaching to your face and laying eggs in your stomach, like, just everything about that is just horrifying to me. Like, it's like a vagina. It's how I view vaginas, is as facehuggers. The facehuggers are vaginas with legs, as far as I'm concerned. Because I don't know, man. There's some girls that I find very pretty, but when it comes to doing the deed, I can't follow through. I have in the past. There are girls out there that I have won my ire, as you would say. All I will say is that if you're a girl, you've got to have, on top of me finding you very physically attractive, which you have to fill a set of conditions that is so, I want to say, random. There's a very specific type of girl I like. Tomboys. I like tomboys. I like lesbians. Like, I would say, like, not like actual, like, obviously lesbians, but just more like girls who are boyish. I like those girls. But then there's also some girls who are like, I also like some girls who are like very feminine, and it's like, I am very much attracted to girls who are like very, very, very feminine. I like both ends of the spectrum. I like men who are very masculine, and I like that's why I mentioned like muscle bears and all that earlier, because like that's typically my type, but I do not fit into that community at all. I have on more accounts than I can name on any number of digits, on any number of people. It has been made very clear to me by that community that I do not fit in and I don't belong, which sucks. And I say specifically the muscle bear community, but I mean that's like, I'm not a gym bunny. I get it. I get it. You know, they all like they like the whole twinning thing and don't like the idea that opposites attract sometimes. Are very closed-minded from my experience of them. Very, 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 very close-minded. Ironic. But, you know, like all things in my life, I am willing to see that stereotype broken down. Which is very much how I approach racism. I break down racism, I look at it and laugh at it because it's fucking preposterous. The idea that someone can actually truly hate someone based on the color of their skin or where they come from, like hate them. Like, you can have reservations about someone based on their culture, because stereotypes exist for a reason, and we all use them, and sometimes they are a helpful tool, but I try to use positive stereotypes rather than negative ones, you know? And when I meet someone who is part of a certain culture, who conforms to all of the negative stereotypes of that culture, I just think, well, that's very unfortunate, because now someone is going to meet you and someone racist is going to meet you, and everything that they feel is going to be completely justified, which will just make the whole racism issue all the worse. And it's just unfortunate. I think it's fine to embrace stereotypes, but it's also important to break them down. Okay, all right. But yeah, it's just as important to break them down. So know that if I'm ever being racist on my channel, it's because I'm making fun of it. If you want to know the best way to get to know a culture, it's food, man. I'm not joking. Because there's so much history in food that we overlook. That is so important and tells you so much about why a culture is the way they are. Is through their food. More importantly, like what they don't eat versus what they do eat. Because, like, yes, you can look at a culture's food and then be like, oh, I can put my own spin on that, or that's a cute recipe. But it's what they choose to eat, even though they have access to other things, that really kind of gives you an insight to the culture of a certain type of people. Because food is one of those things that you don't fuck with. You don't fuck with food. And if you do, you're a madman, and it's either going to give you huge success, or it will kill your career. I've seen so many cooks attempt fusion foods to disastrous results, which I think is really unfair. Not unfair. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Like, one example of this is sushi burritos. I don't get the whole sushi burrito movement. Because I love burritos, and I love sushi. But those are two things that, like... It's like the equivalent of just like making a maki roll and then just eating it like that. Like, that's what the sushi burrito is. And I'm like, well, part of the reason that I love sushi so much is because it's bite-sized. You can get most everything in, like, little bites, and it's why it's so filling. Now I'm craving sushi. God damn it. Look what I've done to myself. And I'm going to be thinking about sushi, like, constantly now. And I won't be happy until I get it. Any food that I eat that's not sushi... Ugh. I mean, that's only marginally true. But yeah. Some fusion foods just do not work. And then other fusion foods work really well. Like the, the cronut. I really want to try one of those. And there are some Asian fusion foods that work, like, there are some fusion foods that work super well. Like, Asian fusion usually works really well. But I find a lot of Asian fusion places say it's Asian fusion, when it's like, no. You're serving me a steak. You're using like, ginger and watercress and water chestnut, which are, like, Asian flavors primarily. But it's still a steak. Like, the only fusion is the flavor. It's when you try and marry, like I was saying, sushis and burritos, or like, another really bad example. I can't even think of one. Like, if you were like, I'm gonna take, like, an egg roll, but I'm gonna make it, like, a sandwich. And, like, you took egg roll pastry and, like, made, like a wrap out of it. I just don't think that would work. Because there's just certain things that you need for an egg roll to be an egg roll. Like, I could see you taking the filling of an egg roll and, like, putting it in a tortilla and then, like, pan frying it. Like, that could be good. Or you could do the opposite. You could take an egg roll and, like, stuff an egg roll with, like chicken parmesan, which could be really interesting. Those kinds of things would work, but there's certain types of food staples that you can't really fuck with too much. Pastry is one of those things. You can't fuck with pastry. There's only one way to do pastry. And like the cronut, it's a pastry that is an homage to a donut, rather than like a pastry cooked the way a donut is. Ultimately, it is a pastry. By pastry, I mean like pastry dough. Like it's a millefeuille that is shaped and made to look like a donut. And I really want to try one, because I'm realizing, I'm like, well, I have no idea what a cronut tastes like or how it's made, so I can't really comment. Oh my gosh, sorry. I'm having boy problems. I just got to keep track of my level, because I'm nowhere close to being level 60, but you never know. You never know. Oh, go away. Just try to check my analytics. Not my analytics, my view on watch page. That's what I want to do. Because I think I'm going to quit pretty shortly and just have a shower and eat some food and stuff. Oh my god, it's been an hour and a half already. Yeah, I'm gonna call it quits here. But for those of you who tuned in, thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna finish. Let's finish exploring this level. Let's do that. Let's do that. But yeah, Darkening of Tristram event, which is what I've been doing primarily in this session. So if you're kind of wondering, being like, what? Why does Diablo look like that? That's why. Finish up this level, and then we'll do a tap portal, and then I'm going to take a shower, and then probably make myself supper. Unless someone has different ideas about that. I want sushi now. God damn it! What have I done? I do this to myself constantly. What do I have in my house that I can make that's like sushi? I've got chicken. I could try to do like chicken tartare. Is that a thing? I've seen chicken served raw, but I don't know what the preparation is. Ooh. Ah! Ooh, Wrathful Gate. Insurance. Fear on hit, maximum wrath. So, okay. Cool, that is a shield. Look at her. Yes, Courtney! That yellow, though. That yellow and blue looking regal as fuck, girl. Honey, work. Honey. And there's all these little fucking offshoots over here. Ugh. I'll have to do it. Okay, good. Okay, good. Who knows? I might resume this stream later and come home. My friends want to do karaoke tonight, and I may or may not do that with them. I mean, I'm going to. I said I was going to, so I should do it. I should do it. Rolling shot. It's an interesting line of conversation. You know, Diablo and drag queens. Yeah, but whoa! Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that? In the bottom left-hand corner, if you scroll back, there was a weird texture glitch, and it only happens on the Crusader. I'm noticing. But this class is broken. Oh, perfect. All right, so let's go back to town. And then, yeah, there we go. What's really funny is I look at my views and it's like, I'm done with Diablo 3 by Shinobi. 74,000 views. Maybe I'll watch that.
I've hardly seen her rest since we met.
Now you know why angels and demons fear the Nephilim, Lorath.
Yeah, but anyways, that's just really funny how the mace will whip around if I... But I won't do it in the menu. It's only when I... Anyways, for those of you who tuned in, thank you for joining me on this, like, kind of more chillaxed, even though I'd never shut the fuck up. I talk. Rebel diarrhea, get used to it, it's what I do. It's what I'm known for. It's what you'll learn to love me for. But yeah, if you did enjoy this and you'd like to see more of me just kind of like chilling out and just stream of consciousing all over your faces, hit me up. Otherwise not. I've decided to revise my outro. So instead of just saying stay shady, lady, just don't forget to spill the tea and be a little bit shady. It's fine to be a little bit shady, but always spill that tea, ladies. Don't lie. Lying is bad. I would know. I used to be pathological.